Welcome back. Hi. I'm doing an intermezzo for this game because some little amount of drama has happened surrounding this map. So let's begin at the beginning. I made a map for Lingo 1 called the Alphabet Mines. It took me about a year and 4 months, and it had 1,400 panels like this in it. And it was something that I'm very proud of. I still am very proud of it. Um, I think I did some pretty good work. There are some things in there that I look at and I go, well, that could have been done better, maybe. But no, it's a pretty good game. A lot of people have told me that they enjoy it. Um, but it was a difficult thing to write, and every once in a while I would get stuck. And one of the times I got really stuck because I needed to do something where I needed like four new ideas simultaneously, and I didn't know what to do with that. Um, I decided to create the Lingonberry tutorial, which is another map that's out. It's available on Steam. You can download it. Um, Kind of advertising it, kind of not, because I can't turn a dime off it because it's off of somebody else's intellectual property. But if you're not sure how some of the earlier stuff goes, it's not bad. This map that I'm in was intended to replace all that. But as a way of figuring out some of the older things, if you don't want to go through those maps where they may not be readily available, it's not bad. Um, I went over that a little bit in the other intermezzo based on this game. And so I finished the Alphabet Mines at the end of last year. That's 2024. Um, I did 3 rounds of the Lingonberry tutorial in and through that as the Lingonberry jam happened. I did the jam. Ooh, why are you open? You shouldn't be open. Oh well. I did a Lingonberry jam all through that as well. Um, but when it became clear that the Lingonberry jam wasn't going to be going forward, what I did was I decided to redo the project in here. And it was really when I came up with a name for it. There was a document that was being created on Lingo's Discord called the Quran, that was intended to basically catalog all of the things that were being made. And so I wanted something that was a little bit closer to that. And so the fact that it would become the Quranberry tutorial, Q apostrophe RAN, was just too good to resist. And so I made that the title. That went on pretty well for a while. As you can see, I got a lot of things done. However, I had a problem with a user who was sort of very vocal with their opinions about how this should be done and how the various tutorials should be done. And they had trouble taking no for an answer. And so I got fed up one day, went on a bit of a diatribe, and said, this is not your map, it's mine. I had originally intended the Lingonberry tutorial to be collaborative. Nobody took me up on that. And I saw the way that collaborative things happened in Discworld, or in the Discord. And I wasn't happy with it. So I didn't want to get involved in any of that drama. So nope, I decided this was going to be a one-person project. And I would be willing to accept people's information about what what sorts of things should be on each of these, what was there, what had I missed, what could be coalesced into a single thing, what really should be two different mechanics, that kind of stuff. But in terms of actually building the map, no, I'm going to keep control over that, and I'm just going to do it myself. Um, so when this other person started pushing me around a little bit more than I was willing to take, I clapped back at him, and that created a bit of a rift. I decided I needed to take a break from it and work on other projects. And I was coming up with some way of putting a basis for that. It was going to be something that taught you how to do American style cryptic crosswords, but using stuff from Lingo, because there's a great deal of overlap between those two things. So I was, constructing a crossword and trying to make sure that everything was beginner friendly and vaguely Lingo themed in the grid and the clues. But then Lingo 2 came out. And all of that got put on hold because, maybe I need to do this in Lingo 2's environment using Godot 4, which had come out. This is made in Godot 3. So I need to evaluate this and see what it is. And I created this channel and did my playthroughs. And all the rest of it kind of got put on hold. So when I finished that playthrough, around August, I want to say, something like that, I decided to go back to the tutorial, which had now become the Strawberry tutorial, because there was some possibility that because it was named after that other project, that the design choices for that other project applied to me, and they sure didn't. It was just an irresistible to me pun. And yeah, so I wanted to distance myself a little bit further from that, because yeah, this is a benevolent dictatorship that I'm running, and yeah, I'm not beholden to anyone in terms of what I do or don't do in this project, because it was just meant to be a fun time waster for me. And so I started back up with it again, and some people came back to it and expressed how they loved the idea of this map. They were appreciative of what I was doing. One user in particular was helping me a great deal and contributing a lot of stuff. I had an entire to-do list of things to do. I've been doing that in these playthroughs of what are the things I still have to do in Blueprints. Yeah, I was doing that also in what do I need to do in here in the Strawberry tutorial. And I was knocking things off one by one as I was investigating things and seeing, like, how legitimate is this? Do they have a point? Is this something I need to redo? So that one person was adamant that they were like really enthusiastic about this project. Not long ago, after I put up the first Intermezzo for Lingo 1, which started off that playlist, somebody decided that they wanted to flex a bit and show how big a person they were, how big a wheel they were, and made a bingo card detailing what they had identified as elements of bad design for a map, and then posted their bingo card to a whole bunch of threads for different established finished maps, showing the bingo card of here's all the terrible things that are in this map. And they decided to hit the alphabet mines. And when they did it, I made a joke about it. I said, oh, if only I'd done the fifth thing in this column, I'd have gotten a bingo. I knew I should have done that. And it's fine. People can say negative things about me. I'm pretty good about looking at what the source of any particular criticism is and deciding whether or not it is worth paying any attention to and how strongly to take it to heart. And if you take a look at some of the maps that that particular bingo card issuer has done, yeah, it's pretty clear what's going on there. Um, this is not a person that I'm going to take a great deal of criticism for, given where they started. So I didn't take it terribly seriously. But what happened was they came back and they made a correction and decided they wanted to mark one of the other squares. And then a whole bunch of other people decided to join that thread, piled on, and started doing what I referred to, I think, in a message as a hatchet job on the alphabet mines. And I decided that it was time to leave the Discord server. So I am no longer part of the Lingo community. And at this stage of the game, I'm not sure I could recommend that that's something that anybody should get themselves involved in, just because it seems to have gotten more and more toxic as time has gone on. There is a certain crowd of people who just seem to want to run the show and everything has to be their way, and their egos are out of control. And ordinarily, I wouldn't let any of this bother me. I would just step back and just basically not respond to comments. But the thing is, the people who were dogpiling on that bingo card thing were the same people who were telling me how much they appreciated the Strawberry tutorial project, how much they wanted it to go through, how much they wanted to help, while at the same time telling me that the stuff that I put out was disappointing and terrible. And I have a full-time job, I have a side hustle, I have social obligations, and then I have other things that I do like this. I don't have a ton of free time in my life to be able to burn on things that aren't working. I'm older probably than most of the people watching this video, and yeah, I don't tend to participate in drama. I tend to just end it. And it might have been a little bit spiteful, just that all of these people that were telling me, oh, I really want to see this project through, I want to contribute to the Strawberry tutorial, only to then turn around and tell me that my stuff is horrible. It was a bit spiteful of me to say, yeah, you're never getting this. I'm going to work on it myself in secret without other people's assistance if I'm going to work on it at all. That's for me and my conscience to figure out. But it's not a case of, well, somebody said something mean about me and so I'm going to take my ball and go home. It's, no, these are specifically the same people that are hoping I'm going to bend over backwards, providing for them the specific thing that they want. No, I'm not doing that. I am not going to debase myself that way. That is beyond the pale. That is more than just, it's a joke, don't take it so seriously. No, those people wanted something from me and complained about my work at the same time. So I'm not going to burden them with any more of my work. And all of that was just going to be water under the bridge. I was going to continue using this as a means to thread through, and I still plan to thread through all the different Lingo DLC maps that look interesting and make them happen. Except I got a comment on the most recent video for Forward that said, oh, you should go back to doing the Strawberry tutorial. Here's the thing. Until I put out this video, why would anybody out there have any idea that I had stopped doing it? The only way that they would have any idea that I was not planning to continue with the Strawberry tutorial after I put out a video pretty much implying that that's exactly what I was planning to do, because at the time it was. The only reason anyone would say that is because they were aware of what went on the Discord. The only reason they would is because they were one of the people who participated in the thread, the forum, specifically for the Strawberry tutorial, which is now lying dead because I'm not contributing to it any longer. I mean, maybe other people are, but That doesn't have anything to do with me because I've left the Discord server. So I don't know who they are. Their on-screen handle looks pretty anonymized. It doesn't look like anything I recognize as being someone from the Discord, even though I'm pretty sure they are, which just means they don't want me to know who they are. But yeah, so my update for you all, the folks who are watching me on YouTube, is we're going to continue on as normal. But yeah, I'm not on the Lingo Discord anymore. So, among other things, if I get stuck on one of these DLC maps, I am not going to be able to ask for help nearly so easily. So I may be relying on you guys for it, assuming somebody out there who's watching this has already played a particular map that I'm stuck on. We'll see how forward goes. But yeah, my connection to the Lingo community is effectively done. And yeah, like I said, I don't think I can recommend any all going and joining the Discord. It used to be a pretty good place. It used to be great for collaboration. It used to be great for people interested in word puzzles. And now it really isn't. Now it's just a bunch of people fighting for power in a place that doesn't have any power. So that's pretty much what I had to say. Thank you for watching this far. Comment if you'd like. But I'm watching. Goodbye.